You need to understand the origin of where you get all your information. The closer you go back to source, the more effective your products, the more effective your rituals, the more effective your theology is going to be. The fact that I'm using one of the oldest references of occult, anything, some of the stuff by the Babylonians, is reason enough as to why a lot of my shit is effective. It's also why a lot of my astrological practice and theories are effective as well, because I derive it from Plato and Neoplatism and Aristotle's fifth essence himself. I go back right to the source, because you know what I found fascinating? When you go to like an astrology convention like Norwalk I go to, you can see hundreds of fucking books all over the goddamn shop that they have there, right? I can skim through that. Half of the whole fucking room is just regurgitated like remnants of just like a fragment of a sentence of a concept from Aristotle or Plato.
What's worse, you start playing the telephone game and it gets more and more diluted as time goes on.
Well, the problem is that you need to understand the entire theology from start to finish with Aristotle and Plato in order to actually become effective and use this as a occult science, more or less, as opposed to an occult art or a joke, if you ask me honestly, a joke. It makes me go back to ranting to people that you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing, so go find what you're supposed to be doing. And if you're trying to be an astrologer and you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing, you of all people should at least be able to figure out what you should be doing, and you should be working on that. If you want to be a hobbyist astrologer, that's one thing, but don't try to force yourself to be something you're not.
Jewel.
Yeah. The whole essence of Pisces in general, Neptune and Pisces. The collective being in Neptune and Pisces would be them feeling detached from their human history, them feeling detached from traditions, detached from everything. So you use the polarity formula like they use with medical astrology. So since Neptune Pisces is the age that we're in, disconnect with everything would be what would be transpiring in general. So disconnect with our institutions, disconnect with tradition, disconnect with the people in general. That would be also emphasized on the end of this spectrum, with us all being on the internet and being disconnected with our environment and our communities. So the symptoms of us actually experiencing this disconnect euphoria that would happen because of Neptune and Pisces age would be anything Virgo related. So being overemphasizing and being calculative or discriminative or detailed, fixed on details, and deciding that this shouldn't be allowed, this should be allowed, or re-emphasizing on physical, tangible evidence or validation. Feeling that if there's not actual physical 1, 2, 3 to delegate that this is actually happening, then this is not actually real. And that is the emphasis of the fight between religion and science for the past 500, 600, up to even 1,000 years. So all of the basically progression, as people would call it, towards the modern age, getting away from all the ancient cultures that knew what they were talking about, and us being so dumbfounded and fascinated with like Egyptian stuff and all that, and why'd they do this and why'd they do that, and how'd they create these structures without any of this kind of modern technology? It would be because they know a lot more about shit than apparently we do. And we continue to perpetuate this pseudo-intellectualism that, despite the fact that we have access to all these transcripts, we have the British Museum that has PDFs that they release. There's all these different things, books. We have basically, despite the fact that Google's completely corrupt at this point, and Pluto and Capricorn is intentionally warping information because people are dependent on it, we have the capacity to have all the information we could ever want at our fingertips, and yet we're all as stupid as fuck, because we seem to think that because we have access to the information there, and that it's so easily obtainable, and that we have more just in general resources at our fingertips in order to resolve things, that we don't actually have to strain ourselves or challenge ourselves to actually figure things out. And therein lies the issue itself. And so that in itself right there just reinforces why I continue to go back to all the ancient associations. If it wasn't for the fact that I look back to the ancient associations and their knowledge and reading back their transcripts and how they resolve things and what they think things are, which goes back and forth to what I was saying about astrologers referencing just fragments of fucking shit they don't understand, and it goes way beyond just astrologers. Obviously, I'm in Washington State, and if you kind of look on the news or whatever, or if you happen to be in the fucking state or neighboring states, you're noticing that there's a smog outside because all of Canada's burned to the ground, right where the last eclipse left off. So the first of the fucking month, of the month where the eclipse actually is transpiring, by the way, is actually the day that the fire smoke started to completely consume the entire fucking continental United States. And funny enough, if you actually go on my Facebook and look, I actually uploaded an image of where the eclipse, like, actual directional line was, and then also the hardest hit areas for all the smoke. Did you notice something fascinating? The fucking direction for the smoke and the eclipse line is the same. Fascinating. Just reinforces yet again all those idiots out there that try to say, well, the eclipse starts on the 21st, so that would mean that exactly at the 21st, on this exact time, at 10 a.m. in the morning, that's when the eclipse energy will begin to manifest. Yeah, don't you fucking wish that would happen? Just like people who find out that they're terminally ill and they're dying, that they think that they're just going to die the next day, any moment. Oh no, it's a very elongated fucking process that you just draw out and die a horrible, painful death. Right. Just like the ethers themselves say, why are you still here? Are you guys still lingering here? What's going on? And they say they're dissolving. It's a process. Just like evolution is a process. Just like the digression of your fucking mentality is a process. It continues to get worse all the time.